It's been years since that fateful winter, but the memories still haunt me. What happened during those cold, dark months is a story I've never shared with anyone. Until now. What if I told you that the coldest winter on record was not just a natural phenomenon, but a harbinger of something much more sinister? Something that would threaten the very fabric of our reality? I still remember the night I heard the strange broadcast on my radio. A voice, low and menacing, warning of an impending doom that would consume us all. And then, the broadcast started, echoing through the frozen streets like a mantra of terror. The winter of 2015 was a time of waiting, a time of anticipation. We knew something was coming, but we didn't know what. And then, the unthinkable happened. Winter, the season of darkness and cold, has always been a time for horror stories. There's something about the snow-covered landscapes, the howling wind, and the long dark nights that sets the perfect backdrop for spine-tingling tales. It's a time when the world outside seems to slow down, and the only sound is the creaking of trees and the distant rumble of thunder. But it's also a time when the human psyche is at its most vulnerable, when the darkness outside seems to seep into our very souls. And it's during this time that the most terrifying stories come to life. As I sit here, surrounded by the trappings of a warm and cozy home, I am reminded of the winter of 2015, a time when the cold darkness seemed to have a life of its own. It was a season of terror, a time when the very fabric of our reality seemed to unravel. And it all began with a mysterious broadcast, a chilling message that echoed through the frozen streets, warning us of an impending doom that would change our lives forever. It started with a strange broadcast on the local radio station. The message was simple yet chilling. The cold is coming. It will consume us all. At first, we thought it was just a prank, a silly joke played by some bored teenager. But as the days went by, the message continued to play, echoing through the streets like a mantra. And then, the strange occurrences started to happen. People would go missing, only to be found days later, frozen solid in the snow. Others would report seeing shadowy figures lurking in the woods, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. And then, there were the sounds, the creaking of trees, the howling of wind, and the distant rumble of thunder. It was as if the very earth itself was warning us of an impending doom. As the days turned into weeks, the occurrences grew more frequent and more intense. People would wake up in the middle of the night, their bedrooms filled with an icy cold air that seemed to seep into their very bones. Others would report finding strange symbols etched into the snow, symbols that seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. And then, there was the figure. A tall, imposing figure with eyes that glowed like embers from a fire. It would appear in the distance, its presence seeming to draw the very life out of the air. People would try to run, but their feet would feel heavy, as if rooted to the spot. And then, the figure would vanish, leaving behind only a faint whisper of its presence. It was on the night of January 15th that the terror reached its peak. The temperature had dropped to record lows, and the wind was howling like a pack of wolves. I was huddled in my bedroom, trying to warm myself up with a cup of hot tea, when I heard the sound. It was a low, rumbling noise like thunder in the distance, but as it grew louder, I realized it was something much closer. I looked out the window, and that's when I saw it. The figure, standing in the middle of the street, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The wind was blowing fiercely, but the figure seemed to be standing still, its presence seeming to draw the very life out of the air. And then, the figure started to move. It was slow at first, its movements almost imperceptible, but as it drew closer, its pace quickened until it was almost running. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. I tried to run, but my feet felt heavy, as if rooted to the spot. The figure reached my house, and I could feel its presence washing over me like a wave of ice. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to move or speak. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was lying in my bed, my head throbbing with pain. The room was cold, the window open, and the wind blowing fiercely. I stumbled out of bed, trying to make sense of what had happened, and that's when I saw it. The symbol, etched into the snow on my windowsill. It was pulsing with a malevolent energy, and I knew that I had to get out of there. I grabbed my coat and ran, not stopping until I was miles away from my house. I didn't dare look back, fearing what I might see. And when I finally stopped to catch my breath, I realized that I was not alone. There were others, huddled together in fear, their eyes wide with terror. We didn't speak, we just looked at each other, our faces etched with fear. And then, we heard it. The sound of footsteps crunching through the snow. The figure was coming, and we knew that we had to get out of there. We ran, not stopping until we reached the safety of a nearby town. We didn't speak, we just looked at each other, our faces etched with fear. And when we finally stopped to catch our breath, we realized that we had left something behind. The symbol, etched into the snow, was still pulsing with a malevolent energy. We knew that we had to go back, to confront the evil that had consumed our town. But as we turned to face the darkness, we realized that it was too late. The cold had already consumed us, and we were forever changed. The winter of 2015 was a season of terror, a time when the very fabric of our reality seemed to unravel. And though we survived, we were forever scarred by the experience. The memory of that winter will haunt us forever, a reminder of the terror that lurks in the darkness, waiting to consume us all. If you have a winter horror story to share, please leave it in the comments below. And if you're brave enough, watch another one of our chilling videos where we explore the darkest corners of the human experience. But be warned, once you've seen the terror that lurks in the darkness, you can never go back. Thank you for watching this chilling story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more terrifying tales. Explore other genres of horror and scary stories on this channel. There's something to keep every horror fan awake at night. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload.